Now that we can enjoy all of the Krypton-based adventures of Superman's grandfather in Krypton, it's time to take a look back at one of the all-time best depictions of the Man of Steel.
Alright, come on, come on!
We're not talking about the real estate plot-laden movie by Richard Donner. We are not talking about Zack Snyder's contributions either. The Superman that still holds our hearts and stands as the best overall version of his incredible mythology? None other than Superman the Animated Series. Developed by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, the show was a follow-up to the equally legendary Batman the Animated Series. Running from 1996 to 2000, the show honored Superman's history while having its red boots firmly planted in his modern mythos. While the Gotham City of Batman the Animated Series has an Art Deco feel, the metropolis of this show looked more like something you'd see on a fancy ocean liner. That's a compliment. The crystalline design of Krypton and its ships had become the norm thanks to the design of the Richard Donner Superman film, and this show lets you know right from the start that it's something new and exciting. Instead of a crystal Krypton, the pilot episodes give the doomed planet a look that is right out of Superman's Silver Age, little Kal-El's escape ship included. While such retro flares occurred often in the design of the show, its depiction of Superman himself was modern. He possesses superhuman strength, but it's not effortless. The show often portrayed Superman lifting larger-than-life objects, but it also let him show the strain of doing so. The result was a superpowered being that we can identify with. He may be the strongest man alive, but he's not unbreakable. Giving him limits added tremendously to the drama, and just like that, Superman had stakes.
Hello.
This is the guy, Lois. Clark Kent from Smallville.
Clark Kent wasn't depicted as the bungling nerd that had become standard either, and he was allowed to show a similar confidence to the Batman series as Bruce Wayne, helping bring both Superman and Clark Kent to life, the voice behind the character.
In fact, I've always tried to help people whenever possible.
You sound too good to be true.
Tim Daly provided the perfect performance for both Superman and Clark, and he also played Bizarro when he popped up. Daly gives our hero a voice of strength, but with a great kindness underneath it. When he has to lay someone out, Daly lets it rip, but we know he only has to do this as a last resort. Our Big Blue Boy Scout has never felt more conflicted or more relatable.
You will never control me, Luthor. Never!
Though Daly originally signed on because he thought voicing a superhero would be fun, he later said that he underestimated how difficult voicing a character of Superman's stature would be. The rest of the voice cast is equally fantastic, with Dana Delaney giving voice to a modern Lois Lane who is every bit the match to both Clark and Superman. Superman's villains have never been better either, with Clancy Brown giving us a Lex Luthor for the ages. Originally auditioning for Superman, Bruce Timm immediately offered him the part of Lex after hearing his audition.
I control everything in this town, Superman. Your cooperation is not really necessary.
He's in full LexCorp mode in the show, and he's no one-and-done villain. He's an ongoing antagonist and is a vital part of Superman's world, just as he should be. He's drawn tall, bald, and imposing, and when you add in the legendary performance of Clancy Brown, you get the gold standard Lex Luthor. The series also brings in Brainiac, one of Superman's most powerful foes. Voiced by Corey Burton, the show weaves him into Superman's backstory. He's present on Krypton and is actually responsible for obscuring the truth about the planet's imminent demise. This sets up very personal stakes between Brainiac and Superman, and also takes advantage of how great a villain Brainiac is, which is something the films have yet to do. Burton has said that he modeled his performance on Vic Perrin's Control voice from The Outer Limits, as well as Douglas Rain's HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's safe to say that, yeah, he nailed it.
You are your father's son, Kal-El. Headstrong, foolish, easily defeated, and ultimately forgotten.
Much like how the Dini-Tim Batman introduced Harley Quinn to the DC canon, this series added Lex Luthor's formidable bodyguard, Mercy Graves. She's more serious than Harley, but also more of a threat.
What a feel?
Feel what?
Speaking of threats, Superman's greatest one was featured on this show, and that threat is none other than Darkseid and his crew from Apokolips. Voiced by Michael Ironside, Darkseid was no longer the goofy villain from Super Friends. He was an all-powerful evil emperor, and he needed to be taken seriously. Do you need more villains? Well, this show plunged into the depths of Superman's gallery of rogues, with inclusions such as a Malcolm McDowell-voiced Metallo, the first time the character appeared in animation, Gilbert Gottfried as a truly obnoxious Mr. Mxyzptlk, and Apocalypse mainstay Granny Goodness, voiced by Ed Asner.
That's enough. I think you got your answer.
It was only a matter of time before the show crossed over with its animated brother, so Kevin Conroy's Batman, Mark Hamill's Joker, Arlene Sorkin's Harley, and David Warner's Ra's al Ghul all showed up at some point. The show didn't end so much as it joined forces with the Batman series, which at that point had become the New Batman Adventures. That show soon became the New Batman/Superman Adventures, which had a theme that was just as epic as its content. Nice. Until both Superman and Batman went to join the rest of the superpowered colleagues in another all-time classic, the animated Justice League. Many of the great characters from this show would become fixtures on that one, including Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Mercy Graves, Brainiac, and Darkseid. The reason that they are as powerful and well-established as they are is because of the foundation that this show gave them. It's easy these days to forget about this show. The Dini Tim Batman was revelatory, and before we knew it, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited were giving us fully epic action week to week. One of the most vital pieces of this unprecedented string of animated successes, however, is this brilliant reinvention of Superman. Though he was a Kryptonian who grew up on Earth and just happened to be animated, this is Superman in his most pure, multidimensional form. Truth, justice, and all that stuff. Full of character and non-stop action, Superman the Animated Series strikes the perfect balance for a Superman-related program.